as an entrepreneur, you have to have a mindset that removes fear.
Oh, you can't. That's not even in the vocabulary.
It can't be.
It can't be.
Because you're constantly changing. Your business is, I mean, it's almost something new every day. And because I came from corporate America as well prior to getting heavily involved in Puffed Up, and CETA was moving at a rabbit's pace and just going 1,000 miles per hour, and I was sitting here as a snail's pace because of what I learned from corporate America and how things get done.
Exactly.
And there was so much that kind of was shedded on me from corporate America, that the fear, the hesitation, it was just
feeling
so much.
Like you need to get how many people's signature and
right,
approvals
so
to do something. This is CETA and Garrett from Puff Cuff here with Kelli. First of all, I didn't know her name was Kelli because I was like, that's Anissa.
Exactly. Everybody knows me by Anissa.
Because Whitney was like, yeah, Kelly's going to be late. Who's Kelli? So this is Kelli Anissa Ali, the CEO and founder of Anissa's Secret. So she is one of those, we've been eyeballing each other since we moved to Marietta and started going to the farmer's market. That's when I first met her.
Right. And
tried some of her spices and then was hooked ever since. So it was one of those things when we started the podcast, it was like, you know what, we got it. Because we've been in this game a long time. A long time. So I am going to just read a little bit about, of her bio. So she was raised in Indianapolis to a tight-knit family. Anissa's mother was a cook by trade, and she would mix her own seasonings, salts, and herbs and spices from her pantry. Mother and daughter packaged their special seasoning salt recipes in recycled coffee cans and gave them out as gifts to families and friends during the holidays. Anissa migrated to Atlanta, Georgia in 1998, armed with her mother's trademark seasoning, salt, recipes, and passion for cooking and entertaining, began experimenting with different seasoning recipes. The goal was to create a unique and flavorful seasoning blend without all the chemicals and additives, using high-quality herbs and spices. And I am completely hooked. We use the chili spice.
That's good. My mother's favorite.
Is that right?
My mother's favorite.
And to tell you the truth, it was one of those things where I was buying the chili packets, and I'm like, why am I buying the chili packets? And it didn't even occur to me to like use the chili spice. I ain't bought no McCormick's. Since then, the rosemary lemon.
Rosemary lemon pepper is our #1 seller.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it goes on pretty much
right.
everything.
So I know I read your bio, but just give us a little bit more nitty gritty of how you started and where you came from and all that good stuff.
Right. Okay. So I am from Indianapolis, Indiana. Grew up and we love to cook and entertain, and so our whole family was all around the table cooking, and when I turned 12, I was making a full course meal. I just love it. So when people say that they can't think of things to cook, that's just foreign to me.
Like, it's something out there and grab. There's something you can grab something.
To cook. So fast forward, I moved to Georgia in '98. I got really sensitive to different foods. I had a lot of allergies when I moved here, which all the trees in bloom.
Right, they try to kill you.
Pretty much. Mm-hmm. And so I became sensitive to a lot of foods and decided, hey, I'm going to make all my food fresh. cook everything, no packaged food, no frozen food. I am going to
Get out.
No frozen food, no canned food, just everything fresh. And when I started on that plight, I started to recognize that when I was going out buying seasonings, that they weren't herbs and spices anymore. I had my mom's seasoning salt that she would send me through the mail at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so once she sent the seasoning salt to me, I started to create my own seasonings for things that I was cooking. And so I started, experimenting with different spices, herbs and spices, and came up with recipes that I would use over and over again in different dishes.
So let me, okay, because one thing you said kind of struck me, put that ping, wait a second, what does she mean? When you say the seasoning blends, the spices that you were sourcing in the stores didn't have herbs in it. So what is it? What do you mean? Were they?
Well, the majority of the spices that you get in supermarkets now, the first ingredient you're going to see is either salt, sugar, and you'll read down additives, and you'll go further down in the line items, natural flavorings.
What's
and
that?
So that's I don't know what natural flavorings are.
Do you really want to know what
No, I
natural
don't want to know what
flavorings
natural flavorings are. And
Okay.
so that really is what made me put me on the quest of making my own spices.
Okay.
And so I looked up one day and I had 4 really solid recipes that I could go through that I started doing the same thing my mom started doing. I was giving out my recipes for the holidays, housewarming, when we were invited to parties, and I would package up these recipes and would take them to, as a host gift. And everybody was coming back, neighbors were coming
You're
back.
like, hold up, wait a second.
Basically.
I can make some money off.
Exactly. And that's basically what, things, it became a point, and my husband was running a business, and things had changed. We had the crash that came along, so my husband lost a lot of business during that, and I got creative and thought, hey, I got these recipes and seasonings. I had the bottles in my pantry downstairs, and I thought, hey, I'm going to go out here and start selling these seasonings. And once I got into the food and started looking into it, I got my license to sell, the product, and went out to my first farmer's market. I think it was 2013.
Wow, that was one of your first ones, and I met you at then.
Well, my first farmers market was out at the Decatur Farmers Market.
Okay.
And went out there. I thought, this would be a nice place for me to set up camp and to make a few dollars. And went out there and saw a whole community of people out there selling fresh food, which is, what I'm all about.
Right.
And that's basically how I got started.
So that's interesting. I need to know, I want to hear next, what makes your spices so different than what we see on the shelf, and why the difference in not using so many salts and sugars, and people thinking that's how they have to pull their flavor out of their meals, and educating them on what the herbs do when we come back.
Okay.
We can do that?
Sure.
Awesome.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with Eye to Eye.
Yeah, okay. Shine. Listen.
I got a puff up in my hair and it's clear.
It's
So
clear.
try not to interfere with the facts I'm about to share. People
Love it.
They love it cause there's nothing to compare. And when something does appear, it's not real, it's a fake, have no fear. It works with dreads and worse with curly hair. You won't go through the wear and tear of using benzo. Yes, I swear you might just have a love affair. And I'm not saying that you should be well aware. The thing might end up in your thoughts and in your prayers.
The perfect ponytail, no stress, no pain, the holy grail. Tired of messing around with these bands, go take a hike, go hit the trail. The perfect ponytail, no stress, no pain, the holy grail. Tired of messing around with these bands, go take a hike, go hit the trail.
I want you to hear. Listen. That this one is clear. For all of you color-haired people, we wanna see all that vibrant hair twinkle. Shine. Wake up, puff, been done. This is the one who begun the dreams that became the bronze in the brain, the change of the game, the company name.
perfect ponytail, no stress, no pain, the holy grail. Tired of messing around with these bands, go take a hike, go hit the trail. The perfect ponytail, no stress, no pain, the holy grail. Tired of messing around with these bands, go take a hike, go hit the trail.
Love it. Hey everybody, this is your boy Garrett, and my wife Sita for Eye to Eye, and we're sitting here with Kelli Ali of Anissa's Secrets. So, we were talking about how she started from in 2013, right? And you said, you wanted to hear more about how
what makes her spices
what
different.
makes the spices different from
Right.
everything that's
Since
on the
they're
show.
not-
Right.
And I'm assuming that you are lower in sodium, lower in sugar, and you're
Lower in sodium, lower in sugar, no byproducts. So my tagline: no preservatives, no MSG, no soy, gluten free.
You hear that, Whitney?
Gluten free. And so that was important to me when I started off. I wanted to make sure I had a stellar product. I wanted to make sure that the places that I was purchasing my bulk spices from were sourcing responsibly. So that those kinds of things are important to me. So that was part of when I got started, that I just didn't want to throw something together and just taste good. I wanted to make sure that, spices, herbs and spices have health benefits. And when you overpower them with salts and sugar, you kind of take all of that away. And I wanted to make sure that when I had the recipe, that I was making sure that I was using good source products, good source herbs and spices. So I feel like that's what makes my products superior. The fact that they taste awesome.
Right, because that's the thing.
Right,
You can have a
right,
superior product that does not taste good. So that's the thing that I was like, okay, because I wouldn't think that your spices would have pulled back on, because a lot of spices are out there that's like, yeah, it tastes really good, but the sodium is off the charts.
That's what tastes good, the salt.
But for you not to have high levels of salt in your spices, just be still that doggone good.
That's right. That's right. I believe in the product that I'm making, and it was important to me. I'm going to say that spice making is an artistry, and so in the words of Erykah Badu, I am an artist,
And I'm sensitive about mine.
I'm very sensitive about the product. So it's something that when I decide that okay, I'm going to introduce a new product, I'm toiling over this product for months and months at a time, making sure that I have the best spices in there, that is working for what I'm trying to do. If I'm making a meat spice that tastes good on meat and fish, I want to make sure that all my seasonings are versatile. So when people say, "What do you have for meat?" You can put anything.
And I believe that because I have.
Yes. Any of them. Which one you want to use? I mean,
Right.
what kind of dish do you want to have tonight? What are you cooking tonight? All my questions that I ask of my customers. So I'm just really grateful to still be in business after all of these years and have repeat customers that come back to me. It's pretty much when I'm out selling and after I've been in business for this many years, for people to come by and yell over somebody else's shoulder that's standing in front of my booth having a hard time making a decision on, if they're going to buy or not buy. You'll get someone walking back at them, "Hey, that's a great spice." You know you're doing the right thing. You know you're doing the right thing.
So has it been easy or difficult to maintain those relationships of who you're sourcing your spices from? Because I know so much has changed in the agricultural industry and all of that. How has that been a challenge, and how? Because my thing is, most people would look at that and be like, you know what, that is way bigger than me. I cannot try to attempt to find these. How do you even find a source for your herbs and things like that?
Well, sourcing it is a big issue, because some of the places don't go by the Department of Agriculture, USDA, all of these kind of regulations in some of these countries. And so you leave it up to the people that are sourcing for you and you're looking at their reputation and the years that they've been in business, and those kinds of things that are important to me. And so that's something that is ongoing with me, is to make sure that where I'm buying from, which has changed over the years, I'm sure you know that those things kind of come and go, but it's all about talking to the people that you're buying them from, and kind of just trusting in what they're saying and making sure that they have the same mantra that you do.
So are you buying through a co-packer then that does the sourcing of the spices, or is it?
No, I buy direct.
Direct. Okay.
I do. I buy direct.
Good. Okay.
So you said a manufacturer. So how does that work?
Well, actually, no. I am the manufacturer. I'm the manufacturer of our products.
Get out.
Yeah. Yeah. We have.
So tell us how that work.
Well, it's pretty much just the same as when it started. You know, I made them with these pretty little hands right here.
Look at them, gorgeous.
And so I'm still doing that with the assistance of family and employees now. And of course, it started out with everyone else, with family and friends, and then later on with with employees. We have a manufacturing facility off of Old 41 in Marietta, Georgia. So that's where we are.
We down the street.
Yes, we are. Yes,
I did not realize.
Yes, we
I
are.
knew we were close, but good grief. We seriously down the street.
You're right. 1300 Mountain Retreat Way, Marietta, Georgia, 30060.
Okay.
We're actually right in back of where it's the Mountain Biscuit now.
Oh, they moved from the other place.
Yes, Mountain Biscuit is gone.
Okay.
And it's the local base camp that's there now. I'm right in back of there.
Really?
Exactly.
Wow. So you have a storefront where people can actually come in and shop.
I have a storefront that's open a limited amount of days. So it's from Friday to Sunday. Those are the days that the store is open. The rest of the days are for manufacturing.
So let me ask this. Now, you do have your own website where you're selling direct to consumer, right?
Yes, we do.
Tell that
So that's
address.
Anisa Secrets Spices, ANISAS, Secrets, SECRETS, Spices, SPICES.com.
Okay. And then
that's a mouthful.
Right. So we'll put that across the screen. And they can also find you on social media.
So we're on Facebook, Anisa Secrets, Instagram, Anisa Secrets, Twitter, Anisa Secrets.
So you can't mess that up.
You can't mess that up.
So you also have, and I know from what the spices that I have purchased, and I've enjoyed every single one of them. But you do have some sweet spices too.
So we have 17 different spice blends, gourmet salts, and sugars. So we carry 4 different organic flavored sugars. We have a pumpkin spice, a cardamom spice, a cinnamon toast, and a chocolate spice sugar. So
right. Woo! Keep on going. Name those next spice blends.
We also carry a salt-free line, so that's important to a lot of people.
Yeah, especially African Americans with this whole
in our community,
right.
In our community, and it just when people say that you need salt in their diet, you really can't have flavorful food without all the salt and all the sugar. So I offer 3 different salt-free blends. It's the chili spice is salt-free, the Italian mix is
I would have never
salt-free.
known that the chili spice is salt-free.
It's salt-free. It's salt-free. So
like every time, literally, we've had whatever chili, it's been her spice. And we're haystack people. You know what I'm talking about? Haystacks?
Yeah, man.
We're some haystack people. But the kids are like, Mom, when we going to have haystacks?
Yeah.
And nothing but some Fritos with chili on top.
Yeah. So we have the Italian mix that's salt-free. And then we have a seasoning salt, my mom's seasoning salt that we made. We made that a salt-free, too. It's a good seasonal. So,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
You didn't know it was going to be all of this.
Did you?
Wow. So where do you see, are you going to ask a question? I heard you say.
Yeah, I was going to ask about, so folks can find you on Facebook and social media and in your website. Is there anywhere else where you're selling?
We're in all the Whole Foods here in Georgia.
Get out.
Yep, we sure are. We're in all the Whole Foods here in Georgia, and basically in the southeastern region.
Okay.
So that's North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, and Tennessee. So we're in. I've lost count of the stores. We just got into the brand new Whole Food that's on 14th Street. No, you know the one they opened up downtown is pretty much their
the 365.
Yeah, no, it's a Whole Foods. It's their premier store. So it's 7,500 square feet.
Oh, really?
What?
3 stories.
Where is this at?
With a rooftop on 14th and Spring Street. They just opened up April the 5th was their opening day.
Really?
Yeah. So
you're in there too.
We're in the store too. So
how has that process been? Being able to get into brick and mortar retail?
Well, the process was arduous.
Okay.
You know, Whole Food does have really strict standards on, you know, who can get into the stores and what can be in your food and what cannot be in the food. And then in addition to when you first start out, you know, packaging wasn't my first thing that I thought of. You know, getting the spices in the bottles was the first thing. And so they critiqued that product until you get to a point of their approval. So it was a long process, but it was worth it.
Right, it was a good learning experience.
It really is a good learning experience, and I think it added a lot of validity to your business.
Oh, yeah. You got serious street cred.
And so when people come up, that's one of the first things they ask you. Well, where are you? My first thought, well, I'm right here.
Right. Why do you have to go someplace else? But
I'm right. Yeah. But, you know, we are in all the Whole Foods as well.
How long have you been in Whole Foods?
This is actually our 4th year.
Wow.
Yeah, 4th year with the Whole Foods.
Not just getting in, but being able to stay in.
To sustain it and through all the changes that have gone on with Whole Food as well, with Amazon taking over. You know, you were concerned on whether or not, you know, I knew some people that, you know, once Amazon took over, they're no longer in the store. So to have that longevity with them, I'm super proud of that.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
That's a story in itself. That's a whole nother segment in itself.
It's a story in and of itself.
Well, we're going to come back and talk about more of the secrets of spices with Miss Kelli Anissa. Is Anissa your mother's name too, or is it just you?
Oh, that's just my middle name.
Well, it fits perfect.
I know.
So.
I think Anissa's appropriate.
Yes, it's definitely perfect. We will be right back to discuss more spice talk with Miss Anissa and Eye to Eye in just a few seconds.
Hey guys, this is Garrett and Sita back here with Eye to Eye, and we're here talking with Kelli Anissa Ali with Anissa's Secret Spices. So welcome back.
Hey.
So we are a husband and wife that work with each other, and I think you said that your husband also works with you.
That's actually my business partner, my life partner, my roadie.
All that every day of the week.
Her all in all.
My all in all.
Well, I was just a little bit extra. Like my kids say, you be a little extra.
Yeah, he's my mentor. because he was in business for a number of years. And actually, just seeing him be in business really was inspiring to me. You know, just seeing him out there. He was in business for 17 years on his own, had a hugely successful business, and seeing everything that he had put into it, you know, really inspired me to really kind of think outside the box. And
that's awesome.
I listen. I think it's one of the, I'm not going to say very few times I listen to him, but when he talks business to me, I listen.
Okay.
And so, you know, ego goes away.
Okay.
Artistry goes away. It's an opportunity for me to really learn from someone that knows, he knows about it. And so about being an entrepreneur, about working by yourself, you know, some of the things that I didn't realize about being an entrepreneur is the isolation sometimes I feel. When I'm in business, and when you work when you work in industry, it's the lunches and the people and the in and out. And
right, they're always networking. But when you're in entrepreneurs,
that's it.
It's an island of one sometimes.
So that's pretty much it. What it is, and so it's been it's really been I would say. Eye-opening experience working with him, and then also just an opportunity for me to learn.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is his role with the company?
He's the chief financial officer, so he's the money streams. Them numbers. That's what he's all about. If it don't add up and if the dollars don't make sense, then he's not trying to hear
it. Right.
You know, and
which is good and bad sometimes.
It's a good and a bad thing, because I have a new ideal every day.
Right.
It costs money.
That's right. And he just like this one. It sounds good, but how we gonna pay for it?
So,
and I'm like,
you know, every
the
day
money will come.
I know that's what he was like. Money doesn't come from nowhere.
Right.
Miss Anissa.
Right.
But from their pocket.
Right.
And so, you know, waking up every day with a new idea, with a guy that, you know, kind of keeps me in line. You know, it's how we're going to pay for this. What's the vision on this? What's the plan on this? And so, you know, it's been a lot of arguments, a lot of tears.
Yeah, that's just. I think that's just the nature of the beast.
Nature of working with someone that is very organized.
Okay.
And very strict and structured, and versus someone that maybe not so much. So he's the chief financial officer and chief operating officer. So Mr. Dominique Kasim Ali, got to give a shout out to him.
Right, to my baby. So that could be definitely one of the struggles that we deal with also, because growing a business in today's time is so different than years in the past, especially you know, the school of thought that we came from. First of all, school of thought that we came from, we probably wouldn't even be in business if we kept that school of thought, because it's all about that good job, you know.
No doubt.
How families and everything else don't necessarily understand what we're doing.
I think that, you know, watching him be in business and in its infancy, you know, I heard that so often. You know, people tell him, you know, well, you need to go get out and get a job. What are you doing about insurance? What are you doing about retirement? What are you doing about savings? And so I heard those things, and I just thought, well, that you don't really know how much we're bringing in, number one thing. And so, you know, that he made more than tons of people that I know, you know, just tons of people that I know. So it is from a lot of people's perspective, you know, the security, entrepreneurship is not for everyone.
No,
it's just not. You have to be pretty driven to be out here in these streets and selling your goods and believing in what you're doing, getting up every day, passionate about getting out in these streets, making sure that people know that who you are and what your product is about. And not everybody has that. And so, you know, it's not going to be. So I get it when you're going to work every day. Heck, I did it for all of years. And so, you know.
So you were working full time while you were in 2013, while you were building the business too.
Exactly. I actually, you know, I was working up until January 31st of this year.
Get out.
Oh, yeah. So I actually ran a business and worked every day.
Check your pulse. You still,
I know. I don't even know how. Manufacturing seasonings.
Right.
And so, you know, I had this great job at Georgia Tech Research Institute. I was the co-op coordinator for the engineering department. Had a great job. Loved it. And this business just fell into my lap. And I got passionate about it, and you know, thought that I was going to be able to maintain, you know, my job in this business until retirement. But you're right, Sita. One day I woke up without a pulse, and you know, my husband started saying, "Well, do you want to scale back your business? Do you want to?" You know, and I would go to bed, yes, crying. It's so hard. It's too much. And I would say, yeah, maybe we would scale back this business. And I would go to bed and wake up and open up my email, orders from Whole Foods, online orders.
Don't give up, girl. Don't give up.
I already knew. I already knew. So, yeah, it's been a venture, trying at times, but passion and drive, hard work, effort, being diligent. That's why I'm here today, 2019. Wow. I've been working this job full time now. What is it, 3 months? So I don't think I've ever been happier.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Oh,
I was going to ask what what have
that's
you?
What I want to know.
Right.
How does that feel?
How does that feel?
Well, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes, ain't that true? Yes,
so you don't know what you don't know. So I thought when you're working full time and running a business full time, it's a way of life. And so when I left corporate America, I didn't know what to feel in the beginning, and I am to the point where it's freedom and relief, and then also. It has given me the ability to really kind of think of where I want to be next with this business, and so I'm really starting to get my creative juices going. That's why I'm sitting here at this podcast right now, pushing Anissa's secrets, so people can know about me now, because I wouldn't have never had the opportunity to do this less than 5 months ago. You know,
that's just so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a blessing. Wow,
right.
That's a testimony.
Right.
It is a testimony.
Yeah.
It is a testimony. It is a testimony. So I'm just grateful for this opportunity to come here and meet with you guys, and it's a testament also of the hard work. You know, when I got off from work, you know, everybody was asking me, well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I thought, I'm getting ready to go work my tail
off.
off.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm getting ready to do. I don't have time to sit around and do what? Right. I have a whole business. I'm going to work tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do. I have a warehouse. I have a storefront. That's what I'm getting ready to go do.
But even it's so interesting, and it's for me to say I'm going to work. It's still different.
Oh God, yes.
You know what I mean?
Not,
just saying that, it's
not.
like, because I was like, I don't want y'all to think I'm going to work.
No. Or what did they say? Work.
Right.
It's not work.
I'm working, but it's a different kind of work.
I tell you, the first week I was off, I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to maintain a schedule. I'm going to get up every day and go the same time that I did when I was going to work. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go out of here. I'm going to come home. And then I thought, after sitting in traffic that first week, I was thinking, I don't have to do this.
Right.
Wait a minute.
I'm the boss. I don't have to be there
to do this. And I don't have to sit in traffic like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that there was not traffic in Georgia at a certain
time of day.
I didn't even know. I didn't know. I thought you said in traffic.
No matter what time you got on the streets. Right.
So, yeah, it's so work, it has changed a lot. has changed a lot.
So how is it now? Because I imagine in your career you probably supervised,
Supervise students, co-ops, employees.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I will say, the camaraderie is always good to be around, and the social network was really good. So that aspect of it was kind of the building blocks of why I was able to get out and get in front of people and talk. I gave career classes. I've given orientation. So I felt like my job really kind of prepared me for where I am right now. So that's what I will say about work.
What he's preparing you for.
Exactly.
So with your, we're going to talk a little bit about advice you would give or little tidbits of something you wish you could have told yourself prior to 2013, I guess. Right. When we come back, we will be discussing more with Miss Anissa and her secrets about staying in business for 6 years.
Right.
This is Cita and Garrett with Eye to Eye. Hello again. Welcome back to Eye to Eye with Garrett and Cita Lash, owners of Puff Cuff, and we are here sitting with Kelli Anissa Ali of Anissa's Secrets. I had, just in case you coming in late on the game, I had met Kelli at the farmers market in Marietta about 2014, and we just been following each other on social media every now and then, giving a call, girl, how you doing? Encouraging posts. Oh my God, you left your job, congratulations. So not knowing that we had pretty much started business around the same time, and just
sounds like it.
Giving each other those tidbits of keep going when we would see each other, and just survive in the process. And then, so I wanted to ask, we give a chance for our guests to, first question, kind of what tip would you give to small business owners or inventors or whatever? Because you're, in essence, your mom invented those recipes.
Exactly.
So, what advice, what a little piece of advice would you give them if they're, struggling on if to do?
I guess the advice, if you plan on starting a business, is definitely you start with the basics, a business plan. And that's where I started. Writing everything down is important to me. And so, I'm a visual. And I think just starting with a business plan and then doing something every day to make that business plan come to life is what I would advice that I would give. I think the biggest mistake that you can make is to look at another business and make that your model. I think the biggest mistake that I made was when I looked at my husband. I thought I'm gonna have a business like his, and that was the worst mistake.
And what did that mean when you say a business like his?
Well, I just thought, what he sold was at a higher cost. Okay, and so I would see him work from home and make $10,000 in a day. And I just thought that was just magical. He would work from home, make 10, I remember the first day that I was off, I knew what he did for a living. But this particular day, I had taken off from work to work in my yard. And he was upstairs, in the room, working his business. And he worked, he came down and he was saying, hey, I'm going to go get a haircut. Now, it's new. It's like 11. 11 o'clock and you're going to get a haircut. Right. And he's like, you want to go with? Sure. Then he gets back home. We get back home. He started his day at 1. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't really working.
I'm serious. And he put his suit on at 1 o'clock and was home by 5. Well, I thought, I want this.
Right. Keeping this a secret.
Literally, I thought that, well, if he could do that, then I could do that. Mm-hmm. But the model just didn't fit.
Right.
Mm-hmm. My product is between $8 and $10. His product was between $70 and $170.
Okay.
So, those kinds of things. And then, mine was a food product. His was merchandise. It was just 2 totally different models. And so when you think of your business, you have to be very precise about what you want and the goals, who your market is, and how you're going to penetrate that market. The one thing that I did, which was an encouragement for me, when I looked at the spice business, I thought, this is a $7 billion business. I want some of that
pie, right?
I want some of that. So I knew that I was in a good field, but I just didn't know what it took to penetrate that market. So it was a lot different model. So I would say, hey, pick a model that's realistic. Write it down, come up with a business plan, do something every day towards your goal, and have a fearless heart. You got to be pretty fearless out here in these streets.
Yeah, we were just talking about that in a different episode about, as an entrepreneur, you have to have a mindset that removes fear.
Oh, you can't. That's not even in the vocabulary.
It can't be.
It can't be,
because you're constantly changing. Your business is, it's almost something new every day. And because I came from corporate America as well prior to getting heavily involved in Puff Cuff, and CETA was moving at a rabbit's pace and just going 1,000 miles per hour, and I was sitting here as a snail's pace because of what I learned from corporate America and how things get done.
Exactly.
And there was so much that kind of was shedded on me from corporate America, that the fear, the hesitation, it was just
feeling
so much.
Like you need to get how many people's signature and approvals to do something.
And I had to realize that I had to shed all of that to get into this mindset to be effective as an entrepreneur, because things move at a very quicker pace than it does in corporate America.
I totally agree with that. I think the benefit that I had was being in an innovative environment.
Yeah.
And so, being in an innovative environment, I was exposed to a lot. And how to get there is a bit of a challenge, but knowing what you need to do, I know what I need to do because I was around innovators every day. I was on the cutting. Difference. It made a huge difference. And, even when I saw my husband, where he started out, when he started in business, websites weren't even a big thing. He was still going door to door in the beginning.
Cold calling.
He was cold calling and doing it the old-fashioned way. And just in his timing, seeing how everything changed right in front of him, and you saying, hey, you're going to have to move. But corporate America kind of had shaped him as well when he went in business, and he felt like it was a personal touch when I'm in a place where it's full of innovators and they're doing everything. And so, I did at least have that kind of knowledge coming into the business. And then I looked at his business and I thought, oh, I don't want to get, stuck like that, because I think a lot of businesses sometimes get stuck in those really old models of doing business. It's not that way anymore. This is I call it Burger King. This is a pull up, window service. Hey, everything, you got to be up, you got to be on the cutting edge, you got to know your next move, you got to know what's next in line, and those kinds of things. And so I totally get it.
Wow. So how would you categorize your mindset change, right? Because, I mean, you said you were fortunate enough to work in an innovative environment.
Right.
So your mindset around how to be nimble when it
Right.
comes to business was pretty much almost there because of the environment you were coming from.
Right, exactly.
But what would you say has been your major mindset shift from that environment to what you're doing now?
I tell you, the bigger mind shift for me has nothing to do with anything but myself.
Okay.
You know, changing my mind and not getting stuck in my own way.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
Amen.
I am the biggest. I'm my biggest supporter and my own critic,
Yeah.
and I get in my own way a lot of times, and so it really has nothing to do with anything more than me. And so that's what I will say. I get in my own way a lot of the times, and so I have to smack my own self around and say, "Hey, girl, you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep, walking forward no matter what. You got to get out of your own head." And that's where sometimes I think a lot of people get stuck. They get stuck in their own head, and you have to kind of shift the paradigm and like, oh, I'm not listening to you today. I'm not listening to that chitter chatter in my own head today because I got some other stuff I need to do. I need to get out here. I need to get in front of people. I can't sit here and listen to this negative feedback that I've created in my own head. So,
Right. Can't start believing the naysayers.
no.
Even when they get loud in your own head. All right. Well, we have one last segment. We'll do some little fun stuff.
All right.
Oh, this is the wrap up? I missed this up. Well, okay, since this is the wrap up, we're going to do it real quick. You're going to give us a promo code for us for all our fans and listeners to use on your website.
Okay. Our promo code today is POD 2019, POD 2019.
And what would that percentage be off?
And that's going to be 10% off of your next purchase.
Amen.
Yay.
Yes. So visit anisasecret.com.
Anissa's Secret Spices.
So sorry, Anissa's Secret Spices.
I'm all about the spices. I'm all about the spices.
And use code POD2019 for 10% off your next purchase. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was awesome.
It was great coming out with you, ladies.
And y'all get some of that lemon rosemary pepper.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right, well, this is your boy Garrett with Sita, and we're out for Eye to Eye.
Take care.
Take care.
No, dude, come on, we gonna get this right. Take care.
Be a blessing?
No, forget it. Take care, be blessed, and be a blessing.